Hi.
Hello.
So today I have Hindusha with me, and we are going to do a video about how you can find a job in Canada. Like just a small, like a bit of tips on how you can find a job. So first off, I would like to ask Hindusha, hi, and thank you very much for like coming with me for this interview. So it's like a small, we're just having a small conversation, right? So uh, just want to know like what is like your background, like so she is from Sri Lanka, and so did you have like this IT kind of a, like the recruiting kind of a background, or like what was your background back in Sri Lanka?
Okay, first, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
So, I did not have experience in this technical recruitment, but back in Sri Lanka, I was doing student recruitment. It's not the same thing,
Yeah.
but the process is similar.
Mm.
So, when I got here, I got here 2 years back. So, as soon as I landed, I was applying for multiple jobs, and this job was recommended by a friend.
Okay.
So, I applied to it, and the process was similar. It's just you have to follow up with the candidates, and we post jobs on social media, and then we go through the resumes and we make sure like they're meeting the job description, and then we do a pre-screening,
Oh, okay.
and then we submit the profile to client.
To the client.
So
Okay.
so back in Sri Lanka, what I did was a bit similar. So only thing is it was students. I was recruiting to the university. So
Oh,
this
okay.
is actual clients
Oh,
and companies.
So that's how you got the opportunity, because it was similar to what
process.
you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I had no background in IT. I don't know anything about like technology.
Yeah.
But it's throughout my experience, I just learned it whatever
Oh,
other stuff.
So you're a recruiter for like IT companies, is it?
Yes.
Okay, so your main recruiting goes for IT companies. So like those IT companies, they reach out to your company,
Yes.
and then want you to find candidates.
Candidates, yes.
So like how do you do that? Like so you said that you post those things on social media and then job websites and
Yes.
all that, and then you get so people apply, right?
Yes.
So how do you find your ideal candidate?
So we start with posting the job. Our main website we use is LinkedIn, the job posting, and the next is Indeed. So once we post it, we go through the resumes which like they have applied,
Yeah.
and then we have certain technology what the client is requiring.
Okay.
So let's say if you are a cloud engineer, they might want someone experienced with AWS or Google Cloud. So we search, we put that keywords and search those words, and then we match the resume. Okay, they have all this experience, and then we keep them as leads, like not 100% identical,
Yeah.
but then we keep them in our pipeline, and we have a pre-screening. Like we talk to them, we schedule a call with the candidate, and we have a session with them, like to.
Oh, so it's not an interview; you just call them,
Pre-screen.
like just a call.
Yes,
Okay.
it's like a more of a, I wouldn't say formal. It's more of an informal
Okay.
interview, just to get to know that candidate actually has all that experience,
Okay.
and then we get their details and everything, and we submit it to the client.
So you just ask them like, so you have done cloud engineering, like
Yeah.
that's all you
So
are.
whatever the job description would say, okay, we want we want at least 3 years experience in Python script writing. So I would ask the candidate the same. So do you know Python?
Yeah.
So how long you have been using it? So what are the projects you have used it? So those are the things, just to get an idea, because anyone could come up and say, okay, I have experience in that skill, and they can just Google it and give an answer.
Yeah.
So just to identify they have genuinely have that experience, so we ask all that questions. So elaborate on the projects that you have worked, you have used this technology. Then we know, okay, this person has some understanding and actually know about the tech. Then we shortlist, okay, ideal candidates, and then we submit to the clients.
Oh, so the client does the final interview.
Yeah, so the client gets the resume, and they go through it. Then they also do a shortlisting, because we might not be the only IT company who's submitting the resumes. They might be working with 2 to 3 IT recruitment vendors, they call them vendors. So they would shortlist. So it's very competitive. So I could submit a resume, and another competitor could submit a resume. I would miss one skill, and then they would quickly shortlist the other recruiters So it's
Yeah. So like your company gets paid if you recruit someone for that company.
yes.
Oh, okay. So like you don't do any like interviews, like you don't do any interviews, just shortlist them and then
Yeah,
put
we
it
do
in.
pre-screening and we prepare for the interviews.
Oh, you prepare
Because
for the
we
interview.
actually don't know what they are going to ask in an interview. They don't share that information.
Oh,
It's very
okay.
confidential. So, but we will have an idea, okay, what sort of question they would ask. We just do a pre-screening, and then if they get shortlisted, we do a preparation session with the candidates. Okay, just say what you have to say, and then what they have to follow. There are some tips. Okay, if it can I go ahead?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
And then you're not asking that question.
Yeah, you can go ahead and give them the tips. Yeah.
Okay, so when they get shortlisted, so of course I don't know anything about IT, right? So if I'm preparing for an interview, I know all the interviews are online, virtual,
Yeah.
not in person.
Yeah.
So first tip we always give is make sure you have good internet connection.
Yeah,
Because
that's a
during-
must.
yeah.
Yeah.
During an interview, you can't come up and say I have technical issue. It gives them a kind of a negative view on the candidate. Okay, he's coming up with he's not taking this interview seriously.
Yeah.
He's just coming up with excuses not to do this interview. So first thing we always tell is have a good connection. Keep your video on, or sit in a bright settings.
Yeah.
Don't sit in a dark room and then give the interviewers of where is this person,
Yeah.
and have a clear audio and video. So these are the simple tips we give for the candidate to prepare. After that, we just go through the experience and the job description, like what are the skills they're asking and what is the experience the candidate has. So we ask them to elaborate on it and come up with solution, or if they ask this kind of question, what kind of project they have used it on, and explain.
So they ask situational questions too,
They do.
right? That's like a big thing that here in like I think most interviews they ask like situational questions.
Yes, and they ask behavioral question too.
Yeah.
Like they check, even though it's IT now, they're checking the personality as well.
Yeah.
Like just because you are good at coding and stuff, if you don't know how to communicate, I have seen recruiters not hiring those person because they don't know how to communicate. Because it's all about being a team player.
Team
they
player,
want someone who can lead a team, or who can help others.
The others as well, like if they're stuck to like
Yeah.
take the lead,
So-
take everyone on
So
track.
nowadays I noticed we thought, okay, it's IT, you don't have to be
Yeah,
good
you don't
at
need any
communication.
skills.
You just show what you know,
Yeah.
type your code,
Yeah.
and then no. Nowadays they're checking like how you can communicate. Can you convey a message to your superior? So based on that, you could have all the qualification, you could have all the certification. If you don't know how to, they check the attitude. So
Yeah.
if you don't have the correct attitude, if you don't know how to speak, they actually don't.
Yeah.
Say
It's just not about how well you code, it's just your personality as well, right? You need to have a personality. Like communication is like a must. The way
Must.
you speak, like
Yes.
everything.
I'm not saying they're not going to judge you by your language skill, like the way you speak, but they are going to judge you the way you speak.
The
Like,
way you
even if you are making mistakes, but you have to be bit confident and then say, okay, I know this is what, and it's not your first language.
Yeah.
So that confidence is the first thing also they notice. Even though if you don't know the language, but you make an effort to explain it to them.
Yeah, especially in Canada, like not everyone is from Canada, right?
Exactly.
Because this country is made of a lot of immigrants,
Yeah.
right? It's like I don't know how many percentage. Like everywhere you go, it's like full of people from different countries, and not everyone can speak good English.
Good English,
Yeah.
exactly.
They want the skill too, but they want you to communicate, like say it properly, like even in broken English, I
Just
guess.
say
Like,
it. Yes,
say it.
make an effort. Like,
Yeah.
they actually appreciate it, okay, even though it's not your first language, but then you know what you're telling them.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I know, this is what I understand, so that they appreciate that.
So like the main thing is to have confidence,
Confidence.
right? Yeah. And like what are the other tips that you can do, like other than confidence? Like you need to prepare well, right? Like
Now the personality wise, I can say be somewhat honest with them, because I have noticed candidates, because if the recruiter is asking, okay, do you have this skill, that skill, and this and that, candidates used to say, yes, I have that.
Yeah.
But then when they actually ask, okay, tell me, what does that mean?
Yeah.
They go blank.
Yeah.
They really don't. If you don't know, just tell them, okay, I'm familiar with the term, but I really don't know how to use it. They
Yeah.
appreciate the honesty also. If you are not honest on your interview, they don't like it
Yeah.
because they want to have someone with good attitude,
Mm.
and then who can be honest what
Yeah.
they know.
Yeah, that's like
Yeah.
personality actually plays like a
Yes.
big role, right? And also, like when I was talking to you, was saying about like the gaps in like especially
The
in
resume,
IT.
yes. I'll explain about that as
Yeah.
well, how to have your resume properly
Yeah, properly, yes.
edited.
And also like LinkedIn plays a big role. Like, do you go into the LinkedIn
Yes,
profile?
yes, we check. So LinkedIn, I can give few tips on LinkedIn profile
Mhm.
as well. Nobody takes this seriously. Make sure you have your profile picture,
Mm.
because people who don't have pictures, when the recruiter searches for your profile, and if you don't have a picture, we are second guessing it. Is this a genuine person or is this a
Yeah,
fake profile? I would always recommend to have a picture, a recent picture, or anything
Like, do
professional.
you need a headshot? Like, that's what they say, right?
Yeah,
Headshot.
just the head.
Yeah.
No need to have like selfie, and just a professional setting.
Yeah.
Picture, and always update your qualification and the experience. If you have left the job, let's say 6 months back, and if your LinkedIn says you're currently working there and your resume says you're not working there,
Oh.
it's a negative point as well.
Yeah.
So we say, okay, this person didn't even put an effort to update their LinkedIn
LinkedIn
profile. It's
profile.
just small things. So have
Mhm.
your LinkedIn profile updated, because I still think most of the recruiters, that's the main source of getting the resumes.
Yeah.
So they go to LinkedIn profile. Now we have recruiters have different LinkedIn page where we post and see the candidates who have applied.
Oh, okay.
Still we go and check their public profile
Mhm.
to see how is their personality.
Oh, okay.
So I would recommend to keep it updated
Mm-hmm.
and have a professional page. You know, not
Yeah.
to share anything personally, but
Mm.
keep it in.
Yeah. Like, you have to be active on LinkedIn too, right? Like,
Yeah.
share posts
Posts,
and all
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Be active, and then share something related to your field. And then if you're looking for a job, mention your exact skills, what you have.
Mhm.
These are easy for us to, you know,
Yeah.
to spot you. Okay, you have this. And then
Yeah.
without mentioning anything, just with your qualifications and experience, it's hard for us to come to a conclusion. Okay, you actually have this
Yeah.
skill. Yeah.
Because you just judge that person on what you see, right?
See,
Yeah.
because nowadays, like I said, everything is online. All the big companies, they rarely ask a candidate to come in person interview.
Yeah.
Everything is virtual. So
Yeah.
even if I'm doing that, pretty sure the client, hiring manager, they must be doing that
Yeah.
too. So you need to have a good impression through your online profiles as
Yeah.
well.
And then, so the resume, like, how do you make it according to, like, so it's like mostly like you search, right? Like
Yeah.
you said. So how do we get ourselves recognized from the resume? Because everyone has a resume and everyone must be having the keywords, right?
So this, let's say I found a resume which matches most of the skills, and even there are like some informations are missing. Still, I decided to, you know, talk to the person
Yeah.
and get an understanding. Okay, what and what. After that, we give them certain tips to update the resume, just to get shortlisted. You know,
Okay.
to get that first impression. Oh, this resume looks good. So let's call this candidate for an interview. So that's how client thinks.
Yeah.
So I would recommend keep it. I'm not saying keep it short. Explain. Declare all your experiences. Declare all your qualifications. It's neat, but update it. Like, let's say you don't work in a certain company. Even last month, if you have left a company, update on your resume. And even if you have a gap, let's say you didn't work for 3 months, again update on your resume. It's better to give an explanation what you're doing from this month to up to now. If you're on maternity leave, that could be the most case for women I have
Yeah.
come across. So they mention it on the resume, so it gives an idea. Okay, it's not like they just stopped working, they were taking vacation for this long. So we have an idea. Okay, it's maternity leave, something health related, but still we would like to give them a chance.
Yeah.
So always
Others, people think that you have not done it, you just sat at
Yes.
home, right? Yeah.
even if you are laid off from that company, when we speak to you, just tell us, okay, this is what happened, and then from this date you've been looking for jobs.
Yeah.
We would still convey that message to the clients. Okay, this has happened, and then they have been actively looking for this kind of job. So it got delayed.
Yeah.
Not everyone gets it right away. Once you leave the job, the
Yeah.
next day you
You-
won't have another job ready. So gap is very important. Another thing is your education. Always mention the years, like which year to which year you have graduated. Nobody mentions that, they just mention the university, and we always wonder, okay, which year they have graduated.
Yeah.
Years matter, including your work experience also. If you have worked in a certain company, always mention, okay, this month, this year to this month, this year.
Yeah.
It gives us an idea, okay, you genuinely worked throughout this period. Even for reference check, it makes our work easy also. Okay, this period to this period you worked in this company, okay, that's why we have to do our reference check.
Yeah.
Small tips, but you don't have to elaborate a lot. Make sure your CV is at least 2 to 3 pages. It doesn't have to be 1 page, it doesn't have to be like 5 to 6. Keep
Yeah.
it 2 to 3. For technical,
Yeah.
IT recruitment, that's what I have come across. Make sure you include every technology you have used. You could have been using even Microsoft Office suite like 365 and then forgot to mention on your resume. We still ask for that. Do you know Microsoft Office?
Even like I've seen like even in other job postings they do ask for Word, Excel and all that,
Exactly.
right?
If you know that, mention it. Don't
Yeah.
forget to mention it just because, oh, it's obvious, I know that. But
That's
But
how
the-
you get
Yes.
picked from the
Yes.
recruiter, right?
recruiter.
Yeah.
So, because recruiter is not seeing the candidate, right?
Yeah.
The first impression he gets it by seeing the resume, and then he's gonna read everything and then say, okay,
This
pretty
one,
much
yeah.
what I wanted. So declare everything, mention all the technological stuff, the skills you know, elaborate it. You can't mention, okay, I'm good at let's say writing like coding or writing
Yeah.
scripts. Elaborate a little bit. Where did you use it?
Yeah,
You
which
know?
project or
Yeah,
whatever.
yes.
And with your achievement, right? Like
Yes.
if you have achieved something, like those
Exactly.
things.
Because everyone can say, okay, I know this, but then they have no clue what is that. When
Yeah.
when they ask real questions, okay, how can you use this, and can you write a code right now? There are interviews they ask to
You do.
do live coding.
It's like
And
3-4 people in front
Yes,
of you, right?
and they go blank. So
Yeah.
mention that where you have used it, how you have used it. It gives them a better idea. Okay,
This
they know.
person is like a capable person,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And so the other thing I was going to ask, so you see resumes. So this happened to one of my friends. So he was contacted,
Okay.
but he couldn't respond at that moment. So, and then they've sent an email saying, tell me a free time to call. But then when he responded saying, I'm free now, they never reached back. So that happens, right? Like once your slots are filled, you don't reach back. So
Yeah. I'll tell you why. The first reason is competition is very high. It's way too high in Ontario. I don't know what other province. It's really high. We have so many people coming with IT qualifications. It's if we do that sometimes. We call one person, if they didn't answer, we move on to the other candidate who's available and ready to
Yeah.
give a pre-screening call right now.
Right now, yeah.
So it's not like you are not meeting you could be the perfect match for the job. It's just it depends on your availability also.
Yeah.
So make sure, like, I know it's not fair to
Yeah, I
tell
know.
be available all the time, but it's unfair.
Yeah.
But that's how the market works. Like it's competition is way too high. It's really we just try to mix and match. If we can't find someone in this qualification, we're like, okay, let's move on. We find someone more senior but still okay with the rate and everything. And
Because
then
no one's gonna wait for you, right?
Exactly.
It's your time now or never.
yeah,
right?
certain clients, they come and ask us, okay, we want a cloud engineer and we want it in 48 hours.
Oh, really?
So we will only have 48 hours to come up with 2 to 3 resumes to submit.
Yeah.
So in that 48 hours, like if I call you and you didn't answer, of course I'm not going to
Yeah.
wait for your answer or anything.
Yeah.
I just move on to the next
Because
best.
you just have 48
Yes.
hours, you need to find 3
Yes,
candidates.
it's
yeah.
that competitive.
Yeah.
So I would move on to the next best candidate and then I would submit that. Like I have a
Yeah.
call with them. If they answered me and then if they are ready for a video call and all, I would schedule it right away and then have a discussion with them and then I submit them.
Yeah, and like we think that IT is like, we say that IT is like the big thing and like there's so many job vacancies, but recently like I have seen, I think you also know, like there's so much of people without jobs even in the IT sector, right? So why do you say that happens? Like I don't know, so many people, like I know like so many new graduates, even people who graduate from Canada with courses, like why are they without jobs? Like
Okay, so according to my understanding, so people who are here recently and they're new to Canadian market, that's because in IT, they want people with updated technology. Also, they want someone who has experience working in a Canadian company. They prefer having someone like that rather than finding someone coming from another country without any background and then explaining to them, okay, this is how we works. They don't even want to waste that time.
Yeah.
So that's one of the
That's
reasons.
how competitive that is,
Yes.
right? Because there's so many people, that options,
Yes,
right?
so they would rather give it to someone who already been in Canada, who had some experience working in Canadian company, than who's like completely new to Canada and then had no idea how Canadian market or the company works. That I have noticed too. So even when we do pre-screening, we ask how many years of experience you have in Canada.
Oh, you asked that.
We ask that. So if we meet people, definitely we know for sure they're not from Canada. We ask them, okay, what is your status here, and then how many years of Canadian market experience you have. So I would say don't get demotivated on that. There are certain
So many people who have been hired too, right?
I know. It's the way it is because it's business, right?
Yeah.
So they're not running charity to give everyone a chance, give new graduates a chance. So they want the business to work like that. So I would say don't get motivated. Even you could be a senior engineer back in Sri Lanka. If you are in Canada and if you are just graduated, I would say start from the bridge. Be ready to start from the scratch.
Yeah, and also do those certifications.
Yes,
Right? There are so many
yes.
certifications
Whatever-
like on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn courses.
Yes.
So also research on, it's a good point what you brought it up. Also research on what are the qualifications on demand right now. What are the biggest company looking for?
Yeah.
Like what qualifications they are looking for. If you take top 5 tech companies, including banking, they all have IT. All the big companies would have IT departments. So research on that and see, okay, what are the top qualifications they're looking for. You could do that. Or you could ready to start at any level of job also. You could be, just because back in Sri Lanka you're a senior engineer, you can't expect to start over here, okay, I want to be an engineer.
Start anywhere.
Start as a technician, that's all I'm saying. Maybe that's the way in. You start and then you start networking, you improve your...
With referrals, you go a very long time. Long way.
Exactly. So we all came here with 5 to 6 years of experience back in Sri Lanka. I also started completely something new.
Yeah, because you didn't have the same experience. You were not a recruiter.
And of course, working for a Canadian company, I had no clue how that. So you have to be ready to start somewhere. Yeah.
So is there anything else that you want to add to, like, before we wrap up?
Okay. Yeah, I would like to give some tips, like, who are new to Canada. I think that's your target audience.
My target audience.
So if you're coming here and you just don't give hope, I would suggest you to keep applying. Even to get one interview, I would recommend you to apply for 50 plus jobs. Then only you will land on an interview. I'm talking about interview, not even job offer. So job offer takes another 50. So
any job, this is not even IT.
IT.
Any job that you want to apply for, just you need to keep applying. Because people think that you apply for 2 or 3 and then you'll be called for an interview, right?
You'll be so confident. So with my qualification, it's so easy to get it. It's not. You should see the market, the competition they have. One job posting, we get thousands of resumes just in Toronto. So imagine if we post that job for all over Canada. So keep applying and then
don't get demotivated when you don't get any opportunities, right? I mean, that happens a lot, because you feel like no one's calling you for interview.
Exactly.
So always find the keywords when you're applying for the job interview, whatever that is posted, right? Saying that these are the qualifications you need that in your resume, because that's what the recruiter is looking for. So that's how you're going to be searched. And so if you don't have that, how well you've done your resume, it doesn't matter. So you need to change it for each job posting as well, right?
Yes, change according to it. That's another good point too. So keep updating your resume, because you think, okay, I have added all my qualification, that's it. But then you see a job description and you think, okay, I could do that. So add it to your resume or write a cover letter saying, okay, how you can learn and improve while you start doing that job. And another important thing is networking. it's gonna help you a long way.
That's
Because
true.
Canada networking is a big deal. I know back in Sri Lanka it didn't seem
Yeah.
much of a option. Like you apply, you
Yeah,
get
we
it.
never went up to
It-
someone and said, "Do you
Yeah,
have a job?"
job.
there?"
And market is so small. You apply on a website, they'll call you tomorrow for
Yeah.
sure because there are only few people.
Yeah.
Over here, networking is a major deal.
Yeah,
Like,
if they
you have to
know,
network.
yeah, if they know that you're like a good person or
Yes.
you work really well, they really do recommend
Yes,
you.
and recommendation goes long way.
Long way. Like it's no words to say how long it goes. So
Exactly. You could, let's say, the client is looking for someone with all these skills, and you could have like 60% of the skill. But if someone you know recommends you to that job, they would take that
Yeah.
person's word, they trust that person,
Yeah.
and then give you a chance to prove
Yeah.
yourself. You don't
True.
have to be 100% qualified for that job. Just because of the recommendation,
yeah.
they will take the word and then say, okay, I'm ready to give you a chance. So it's a big deal over
Yeah.
here. Networking
That's true.
is
Yeah.
the way to go.
Yeah, because for me also, like where I work, like one of my friends came and said, "Do you have a job?" So I just recommended her, and so my manager's like, "Okay, I'm gonna take her in just because you said." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like
And
I
then
never
you know,
expected.
it's a big responsibility.
I'm like, "Oh no." So like, yeah, it does.
Yes.
Like she didn't do a proper interview even. Like for
See?
her, I'm like, okay. So it was like a big burden on me,
Right.
but it does like go a really long way because just a word, right?
Word.
You
Yeah,
just
you-
say she's good.
Exactly. You could say, okay, why don't you hire? They won't. You feel more responsible
Yeah.
for that. Also, they are not even doing interviews. They're like, okay, we are ready
Yeah.
to take her. So keep networking. Just don't get comfortable with your, like, just because you know certain people, don't get comfortable. Okay, I know my own people.
Yeah.
I know people from my own
Own country, yes.
I'm so comfortable right now, so I don't have to do anything.
Mm.
I would say that's a big mistake. Just keep networking, improve your
Yeah.
circle, like the
It's
friends.
not only your
Yeah.
community, it's
Exactly.
like because especially in Canada there's so
Yes.
like so many
Many
other people.
community.
Yeah.
And this country is basically built by immigrants.
Yeah.
So keep,
Yeah.
increasing your people who you socialize also. Like,
Yeah.
don't stick to, okay, I'm okay with this kind of people, I'm settled. If you get stuck in that comfort zone, you're not gonna go anywhere, especially over here.
Yeah.
The competition is way too high. You think you know something when you are coming from Sri Lanka. Okay, I have this skill. The moment you land here, you feel like, oh, that's like the first stage of but they're asking, there is like so many levels you have to learn.
Yeah.
So I would recommend keep learning, keep improving yourself, keep networking, be confident, and then don't lose hope just because you apply for certain like number of jobs and then you're like, okay, I'm not getting any interviews.
Yeah.
It's how it works. You have to apply for like hundreds of 500s of jobs to get even one interview, and then to ace that interview you have to
Yeah.
be prepared. Okay,
Prepared.
this is it.
So many YouTube videos too, right? On how
Exactly.
to answer these questions, like how to
Yeah.
say about yourself.
Yes.
Everyone asks about like tell me about yourself. There's so many videos about
That's
like the main
Major.
thing. Yeah, because that's how you tell who you are.
your first question when they ask, tell me about yourself, you should be able to impress your interviewer or the hiring manager by that question. You know?
Question,
If you're not prepared for that, if you're gonna think, oh, what am I
Okay.
gonna say about myself,
Yeah.
it's gone. You could be
Yeah.
knowing again like all the qualification. If you don't know how to say
Yeah.
it, then it's like
You just have to put yourself out, like show who you are. That's like the main thing.
thing.
So if you that's the first question, and if you can ace that one,
that.
you are like through. Like you're almost through because they know who you are, and
Yeah.
then next things will come because then you're confident too because you answered the first question and you have the confidence to like go on with the rest, right? Yeah. So I think that's about it, right? I think we covered everything. So thank you, Hindisha, for coming with me for this interview.
Thank you,
And
Manishi.
I think it's not going to be only like for like the Sri Lankan community. I
Yeah,
think it will help everyone because my vlogs are usually for like the Sri Lankan community. But since this is in English, I think everyone will understand it. It's just so just to say, we did it in English because Hindusha is not very comfortable in Sinhala. Because it's not her first language, okay? So we want to do it in a language that she's comfortable in, okay? So hope you enjoyed this video. So I'll see you again in another vlog. Thank you. Bye bye.
See you guys.
So if you haven't subscribed,
Yes.
subscribe and
Subscribe. Yeah, put your subscribe to Maheshi.
no, it's Not Mahesi Dosman. It's LK to Canada.
Or LK together.
Alright.
So she will put a label right here. So
Yeah.
subscribe.
Subscribe. Yes. Thank you. Bye bye.
Nice. Bye.